Animals make us happy. Many of us can easily recall a time in which an animal contributed to our happiness. Maybe you're thinking of a dog or a cat you love, a horse you call a friend, or maybe it was when you saw exotic wildlife on vacation, or in your own backyard, or even on Discovery Channel that brought you joy. It will come as no surprise to many of us that animals also make us more relaxed. They can improve our health by lowering our blood pressure, reducing anxiety, or even by assisting those with physical or emotional impairments. Science has proven all of these impacts on our physical and mental health, and we know that health is an important factor in our happiness. Today, we know that animals not only make us happier, but can help pick us up when we're not happy at all. The presence of pets is being used to support veterans suffering from PTSD, and pets have been shown to increase resilience in families experiencing difficult circumstances. Animals can also strengthen our community vitality. Data have shown that pets increase social contacts among owners and facilitate social bonding at the individual and neighborhood level. The concept of biophilia maintains that exposure to nature, including wildlife, may increase emotional well-being and satisfaction among city dwellers whose life satisfaction may otherwise suffer. Communities like this one on the Caribbean island of Dominica have rallied around their image as nature destinations to support the growth of the whale-watching industry, which is not only an economic driver contributing to material well-being, but also a driver for community vitality and education, all measurable factors contributing to a community's happiness. But what about when animals don't make us happy? Many communities experience the nuisance of wildlife raiding crops or the very real threat of wildlife attacks on people or livestock, which may conflict directly with a community's attempts to build their standard of living or to spend less time at work battling nuisance wildlife or other pests. Many communities live with large roaming dog populations, which may lead to decreased feelings of personal safety, as well as sadness or trauma from seeing dogs in poor condition. Conflicts may arise among community members when inhumane attempts are made to manage the dogs by shooting them, poisoning them, or permanently confining them in substandard shelters. Animals can also directly threaten human health. Deadly infectious diseases like SARS and Ebola spread into human communities as a result of hunting and selling exotic wild animals. And rabies continues to be a major killer of children in Africa and Asia, where the disease is spread in roaming dog populations. Rabies is a terrifying disease, and many governments respond to outbreaks with mass dog culling, even though culling is ineffective at stopping rabies. Even once vaccination programs begin, villagers who care about their dogs can be so mistrustful that they hide their own dogs from vaccinating teams, undermining real attempts to end the crisis and degrading confidence in governance systems. Land use and deadly human-animal conflict can occur when we try to keep animals away from our livestock and out of our fields. In Kenya, the government gave Maasai groups rights to land for raising cattle, and fences were planned to protect the land. Unfortunately, the same land was being used as migratory pathways for elephants traveling between reserves, creating conflicting communities across this swath of land. Elephants and tigers are poached from wild spaces at the behest of warlords, criminal gangs, or short-sighted trade policies of foreign governments, depriving us all of the experience of seeing iconic wildlife and depriving local communities from the contributions that these animals make to their cultural identity and environmental health. Unfortunately, it sometimes seems like the benefits of animals are concentrated on those of us in the Western world, and the nuisances and conflicts on those in underserved communities. That may be true, although there are many communities here in the U.S. that can attest to the controversies over wolf reintroduction, generating significant unhappiness. And on the other hand, we've witnessed far less economically well-off communities taking pride in their local wildlife populations as a form of education, community vitality, and cultural diversity, all contributors to happiness, even when the economic incentives to poach or to use habitat for commercial gain are far more obvious. In our work around the world, we regularly see animals providing emotional support to the disadvantaged. Homeless, elderly, and victims of domestic violence are among the vulnerable populations whose circumstances may even cause them to rely more on their pets for emotional support, but whose inability to provide adequate care for their animals may bring them increased suffering. So how do we ensure that individuals and communities embrace the happiness animals can contribute and experience fewer of the negative consequences? In a community workshop in Chile where roaming dogs are a source of conflict, we asked the community what contributed to a good community. It isn't surprising that many of the factors aligned with the domains of well-being: food and clean water, a clean environment, social engagement, health, and good governance. Next, we asked the community to think about what made a good community for dogs. And most of the same things applied: safety, food, leadership, health, and fun. What happened if the dogs did not get these things? We asked them. Those are the pink stickies. They listed decreased human safety, disease, community conflicts, barking. In other words, the symptoms caused by unhappy dogs. Last, we asked them to then move those symptoms up to the parts of the human community they affected. And we saw how not meeting the needs of dogs led to a very unhappy human community. The pattern that emerges, whether we're talking about wildlife, dogs, or feral cats, is that when animal welfare is compromised, communities are compromised too. There are other benefits to focusing on animal happiness. These conversations bring communities together. They foster resilience and build bridges and establish structures for decision-making about other emotionally and ethically sensitive issues. They put value on factors inherently important to communities, factors far beyond economic benefits. When dogs and cats are managed inhumanely, when iconic wildlife are killed for short-term economic gain, and when animal husbandry results in poor conditions for animals, our communities get sick, our environment degrades, and our economic well-being suffers. When animals are respected, celebrated, and protected, our communities benefit in ways far deeper than material well-being. We come together, we become healthier, more stable, more resilient, we feel cared for, and we might even come together to improve other aspects of our community lives. Animals make us happy, and when we focus on ensuring that animals are doing well, communities around the world grow happier too.